In this session, we are going to cover cloud storage. We will be looking at different type of cloud storage available. Let us first of all discuss what are the different type of storage available. Now the first one is directly attached storage, also called DAS. When we attach pen drive or external drive, that is the example of DAS. Second one is the network attached storage, shortly called NAS. Like in the case of Windows, when there is one folder on one Windows system and we want that folder to be available to the another system. So what we do, on first system we right click, then sharing option is there and we share that folder, and then on the second Windows system we can access that folder. That is the example of NAS, network attached storage. That means on second Windows system we are accessing certain folder which is coming through the networking. That is network attached storage. Third one is SAN. Again on one system we will be implementing the SAN. On second system we will be accessing the advantage of SAN is that it sends the storage in raw format. That means on the second system we can format that storage, while in the case of NAS that is not possible. Fourth type of storage is object storage. When we have to access the object storage, we need web browser. That means when we have to use this object storage, when we are accessing that object storage, we have to use the web browser. Again, DAS, when we are using hard disk or USB drive, that is the example of DAS. NAS, when we implement Samba server, or in the case of Windows SMB server, and in the case of Linux when we implement an NFS server, that is the example of NAS. This NAS is also called file storage. When we have to implement SAN, we need to implement two concepts, target server and second is LVM concept. This SAN is also called block storage. In the case of SAN, when we implement the SAN on second system, when we get the hard disk, it is in when we get the storage, that is in raw format. We can format that. When we have to use object storage, that can be implemented by using the softwares Swift or Ceph. And the beauty of this object storage is it can be accessed by using browser. When we have to access this NAS and SAN on client side, we need little bit technical knowledge. But in the case of object storage, just like when you are viewing the your website, same way you can view your object using browsers. That is the advantage of object storage. Again, now how we are going to compare these storage on the AWS? Again, most of the time when we are using cloud, the three varieties are available. If you want to have NAS on cloud, then we have to use the concept EFS, Elastic File System. That means we can go to the AWS, and if we want to have NAS type of storage, file type of storage, then which concept we are going to use? We will be using EFS. And when we need SAN, that means the EBS service is basically a SAN service in cloud, AWS. And we are talking about S3. That is the example of object storage. In today's sessions, we will be covering EBS and S3. Now, I have this is the screenshot of the hard disk of my laptop. This is the example of disk storage. In my laptop I have got two hard disks. The first one is SSD, and the second one is the normal. Both are directly attached, are in my laptop, directly attached storage. In this is the screenshot of that. Mean there is one software folder, from where it is coming, from server 141, and what is stored there, file 1 and file 2. That is the example of NAS or file storage. That means you will get the files. And when we are talking about SAN, this is the screenshot of one Windows system. Windows system was having only one disk, and this second disk has come through your storage area network. This is the example of block storage. And this fourth one is the object storage. That means if you are using the object storage, you just need to have browser. You can access this storage by using your browser. Now let us go to our AWS, and first of all we will be looking at the EBS storage. In my case, what I have done, I have already two of my machines are running. One Windows machine is running and one Linux server is running. So first would like to attach our EBS storage with the Windows server, and then we will be trying to attach our EBS storage with the Linux server. So let me first start my Windows servers. For starting Windows servers, I will just go. I want to move into this folder. This is RDP client for accessing my Windows machines. I will say yes. For saving time, I have already, my Windows and Linux machines are already running. So I will just try to access those. Now first we will see what is in this Windows system. Now this window is running. We will be checking how many hard disks it is having. I will right click on this, because when I launch this machine I have given very little resources, so machine will be little bit slow. So I will right click and I will go to the disk management. Let me again try. Right click and what we will be doing, I will be clicking on disk management. We will see what will happen. Now it is showing one disk to us. That means the disk on which operating system is installed. Now I will minimize this. And I will check where my Windows server is running. It is running in availability zone US East to C. So when we will be using SAN or EBS storage, that should be also be in same availability zone. So I will go to my EBS Elastic Block Storage. That means whenever you are talking about Elastic Block Storage, we are talking about SAN. So I will go to the volume. So I will create volume. It is showing lot of size. We will just create a disk of 2 GB size, and in our case availability zone is 2C. That means wherever your instance is running, our SAN should or EBS should also be created on that. So we are just creating a 2 GB of size of storage. So now what we are going to do, we are going to say create volume, close. Now it is showing us the volume, and what it is saying, it is available. That means it is not attached. So I will click on this, I will go to the action, and I will say attach volume. That means I want to attach. Then it will ask which instance. So where we want to attach? With the Windows. So I am specifying the instance ID. So I will again go to there. We will see what will happen. Because connection is a little bit slow. Let us check whether it got. It is in use. So we will go there. It is very slow. And after few seconds it is visible. That means it is showing. Now what we can do? We can, it is offline. So what we have to say? Online. Then what we can do? We can initialize this, then we can format this like in the same way we use the hard disk. In this way, that means this is the EBS value. Now what I am going to do, again we will move to, now I do not want, I want to detach this. Now it is saying, still it is trying to detach. Now meanwhile what we are going to do, we will start our Linux server. So I will note down the address of my Linux server. Let me go to instances. Now I want to show you how to attach it with the Linux system. So this is my Linux server and this is the IP address. Copy. Now I need to first access my Linux machine. For that I will be using Putty software. typing the address. By default, when you are creating any Linux machine in AWS, the username is ec2-user, and I'm using my private key to access that. Let me check fdisk -l. Permission deny, because you have to use the sudo word fdisk. Now it is showing only one hard disk. Now when we will attach, we will see whether the second hard disk is available or not. So again we will go there. We will go to the volume. And this is my volume. Now what it is showing? It is available. So what action? Again attach. Instance ID. So it will show you us the different instances. Now we will be attaching it with the Linux instance. This is the Linux. So what we are going to say? Attach. So now it is in use. So I will go there. Which command again we are going to run? Now this is the first hard disk and this is the second hard disk. This is the size. That means we were able to attach our EBS volume. Now what is the advantage? Now sometimes you have to delete the instance, but your critical data is there. So what we can do? We can store the data in this EBS volume. It just behaves like a pen drive. That means if I want to format my laptop, if some critical data is there, I will take the backup in my pen drive. Same way. Now what I am going to do? Again, action, detach. Like on one system, we are going to attach the pen drive. We will copy the data. Then we will detach. Then we can attach it with the second. The only disadvantage of EBS volume is at a time you can attach only with one instance. That means when we are talking about EBS, we are talking about SAN. And if we have to explain it in very basic form, basically EBS and SAN provide you raw hard disk, and that too remotely. Now I have got this with me. Now it is free. So I am going to delete the volume. And why it is showing two another volumes, 8 GB? Because when I install the Windows instance, I use 3 GB of hard disk, and when I install the Linux, I used 8 GB of. And all the operating system in cloud, they always use EBS storage. Most of the time, I will not say always. Most of the time, they are installed on the SAN storage. That means on EBS. So we were able to successfully create the elastic block storage, attach with the your instances, and then remove. Now we will be looking at the S3.